What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk about a weapon that is, in my opinion, the most powerful LMG in Battlefield 6. And the reason for that is simple. This weapon actually defies one of the key elements of weapon balance in not only Battlefield 6, but any Battlefield title. And that is called damage drop-off per distance. This weapon, it doesn't have that. Now what we're talking about in today's video is the M250 LMG. And at the first glance, especially for those newer players in Battlefield titles, you might think that it's no big deal. I guarantee you it is. Now we're going to talk about statistics here. I'm going to give you TTK everything, and I'm going to compare this weapon to other weapons to tell you how big of a difference it is to be a weapon without damage drop in Battlefield. And in today's video, I'm going to also give you the best setup for the M250 when it comes to multiplayer and also REDSEC. And for those REDSEC players, for those Battle Royale players, I have good news for you. This thing is actually really decent when it comes to Battle Royale, and with my setup it's going to get even better. And I've been using this thing even in the Battle Royale for quite some time now, and I guarantee you you're going to like this one more than the KDS when you actually start playing this. So without further ado, guys, let's go ahead and talk about statistics first, and then I'm going to give you the exact weapon setups that you need to make this weapon an absolute beast in the battlefield. Just keep in mind to stay tuned to the channel because more videos like this, guides, tips and tricks will be coming your way. I'm also making a video giving you exactly how you should customize any weapon for any intended role, and I'm pretty sure that's going to be a lit video, so stay tuned to the channel because that video is coming out as soon as possible. Without further ado, guys, let's jump straight in. So I just want to start here with the statistics. This is the battlefinity.gg. This is a website that gives you every single weapon. You can basically customize them, put every attachment you want on them. And this is not sponsored, by the way, but I just found the website to be really useful for Battlefield players. So I'm just going to put the link down in the description. You can go ahead and take a look at whatever weapon you want. All right, so you might not know what damage drop-off is, okay? Here I've got the L110 because this is a popular LMG. I know I've seen your comments, guys. You absolutely love this one. So I'm just going to give you a quick comparison between the L110 and the M250. Take a look at this, okay? In Battlefield games, your bullets will deal less damage in greater distances. We've got the L110 here. From 0 to 20 meters, you're going to deal 25 damage, 4-shot kill. Okay. From 20 to 75 meters, you're going to deal 20 damage, 5-shot kill. So your damage has actually dropped. And anything above 75 meters, you're going to deal 16.7 damage, 6-shot kill. Okay. Now take a look at this. This is the M250. You don't have damage drop. Okay. You're going to deal 25 base damage, 4-shot kill. Your TTK is 267 milliseconds, and this will not change based on distance. From 0 meters to anything you can imagine, you will be killing people with 4 shots, dealing your base damage, which is 25. Now, you might think that this is not a big deal, especially if you're new to Battlefield, but those experienced Battlefield players know how big of a deal this is, because this basically defies one of the key elements of basically balancing a weapon in any Battlefield game, not only Battlefield 6. And this simply makes this weapon a 4-shot body kill and a 3-shot headshot kill in any distance, regardless of anything. So in multiplayer, that's going to be 4 shots body kill, 3-shot headshot kill, and in the REDSEC, that's going to be 8-shot body kill. Okay. However, you might think that this weapon actually lacks in some other departments, but I have to tell you, it just doesn't. Muzzle velocity with extended barrel is 950 meters per second, okay? And let me tell you, that is faster than the PSR sniper rifle with the extended barrel, because the PSR with the extended barrel will only give you 900 meters per second of muzzle velocity. So this LMG's muzzle velocity is actually faster than some of these sniper rifles in the game, and that is just absolutely insane. About the fire rate, for a LMG, it has a 700 RPM of rate of fire. Absolutely crazy when it comes to it, especially because we know that this weapon doesn't have damage drop and your 4-shot kill. 700 RPM is just like a rain of fire on your enemies. Again, base damage is 25, no damage drop, and reload speed is something around 5.7 seconds, which is actually faster than the L110, than the M60. It's faster than M123K, and I guess 1 or 2 more LMGs are actually slower than this one. So when it comes to reload speed, you're actually okay. You're above average. You're perfectly above average. The M250 is probably one of the fastest reloading LMGs in the game to this date. And honestly, despite me enjoying the weapon and actually doing a lot of things that I couldn't do with any other LMG on the battlefield, I really believe that this weapon has to be fixed, because something like this has to be unacceptable, not only in BF6, but in any Battlefield game. This thing cannot exist. However, it exists now, okay? And people actually might like it to a degree where developers actually decide not to fix it at all. However, if I were you, I would use this weapon as long as it is 4-shot kill without damage drop. However, the weapon has two downsides, okay? First of all, the hipfire accuracy of the weapon is not okay. And even with a green laser sight, you can't really do much. So you have to be prepared for that, because your extremely close range gunfights are going to suck because of that hipfire accuracy. And the second thing is, this weapon has a 50 round magazine by default. However, you can upgrade this to a 100 round belt fed magazine. But there's one problem. That 100 round mag is actually really expensive. That's 55 points, which means you simply just run out of points as soon as you touch it. Okay, basically what I do is I don't really touch magazine, and I'm gonna stay 50 rounds per mag. And that is one big downside, because you're gonna run out of bullets in no time, especially because you have a high rate of fire LMG here. As soon as you start firing, you're gonna have an empty LMG and you should reload. But again, the good news is the reload speed is actually decent. Alright guys, so about the weapon setup, I'm going to first start with the multiplayer part, okay? Your weapon scope is actually personal preference, but for both REDSEC and multiplayer, I just prefer the scope 2.5 times. This actually gives you a clear sight, as you can see, and 2.5 times is, in my opinion, something decent. It's not too much, and it's going to actually give you some decent clarity and some decent in-range capabilities when it comes to it. So put your favorite scope on the weapon, but if you're curious to know what I'm using, I use the scope 2.5 times. Going to the laser sight, because this weapon actually has a really ridiculously bad hipfire accuracy, I just tend to use the green laser sight, the 20-point green laser sight, because I find myself in situations where I actually have to start hip firing because the weapon's ADS time is actually higher than you think. That's 433 milliseconds, as you can see here. So in my opinion, you're not going to have enough time in some of those close range gunfights to go ADS, okay? You're going to need some sort of hipfire accuracy every now and then. So my preference for the multiplayer part is going to be the green laser sight. And for your muzzle attachment, basically what I like to do is I either use the standard suppressor or the long suppressor. But now let's stick to the standard suppressor. For the barrel, I like the heavy extended. This will actually give you some more muzzle velocity. As you can see, it's going to increase the muzzle velocity all the way to 950 meters per second. And you're going to need that because honestly, with this weapon, you can easily take down snipers. Your 4-shot kill, 3-shot headshot kill, you're not going to have a problem to be engaging those snipers, even in like 150 to 200 meters of distance. So no worries about that. You're going to need that more muzzle velocity. Moving on to the grip, I really like to use some sort of angled grip here. Doesn't really matter which one of them because they all decrease that ADS time to something more acceptable. But there's a catch here. Using any one of these, especially the full angle, because it's going to give you more control, you will still not have enough control over the weapon to effectively land your shots because you only have 50 bullets. You don't really have room for mistakes when it comes to losing a couple of rounds every now and then. You don't really have that space. Okay, because you're limited on ammo. So you have to make every single shot count. And because of that, I really don't like to use the angled grips at all because I simply need more recoil control. Okay, so what I do is I use the 6's 64 vertical. I really find it to be satisfying when it comes to recoil control. So this one is my go-to for now, but I'm going to give you some alternative grip if you don't really like to use this, and that's going to be interesting as well. So you're going to leave the 50 round magazine, you're going to leave bullets on standard, and that's going to be your setup. Now if you want to fill up that 5 points that we have here, one thing you can do is using the long suppressor. It's going to give you reduced recoil buildup and it's going to improve recoil recovery, but it's going to decrease that hipfire accuracy, which is also done by the standard suppressor, so that's no big deal. And it will increase just a little bit of weapon sway, which I haven't really noticed, honestly. I didn't notice anything when it comes to weapon sway between the 20 points and the 25 point suppressor. So if I were you, I would just go ahead and use the long suppressor to just maximize my points. And here is the setup that I use for multiplayer, and it works fine. However, if you just don't want to engage in those close range gunfights, but you want the ADS time to be decreased, I have a better plan for you. You're going to completely remove your laser sights, and now you have a variety of options when it comes to your grip. You can simply use the stippled stubby. I don't have it unlocked. It needs a mastery of 37. I'm almost there. I'm 35. Once you unlock this, it's going to give you the same recoil control as my favorite 6's 64 vertical. However, it's going to decrease your ADS time. Okay, that's what you can do. However, you should keep in mind that removing that laser will actually decrease your hipfire accuracy to 22, as you can see, which is absolutely and utterly ridiculous. That means your bullets will not land if you hipfire. Simple as that. You might be able to, but that's going to be completely lucky and you won't have any control over it. So you just have to keep in mind, you have to sacrifice one thing for the other, okay? And now let's go to the setup for REDSEC. For REDSEC, I use my 2.5 times scope. It doesn't really matter what you want to use. Scope is personal preference. I don't use lasers in REDSEC because I don't really find them interesting to use, honestly. However, in REDSEC, you should keep one thing in mind. You need recoil control when it comes to any LMG. So what I do is I use the 20-point break here, this one. And for now, I'm going to use my classic vertical here because it's going to give me a lot more recoil control compared to the 6's 64, okay? So I'm going to use this. However, again, you can use the stubby, the stippled stubby here as well. And you can also use the low profile stubby if you have it unlocked. They all going to work. It just depends on you. If you want that ADS time to be decreased and you want the same amount of recoil control as the classic vertical, you can go ahead and use the low profile stubby. But again, the classic vertical here and the stippled stubby should actually do the trick for you. Your barrel should also stay the same, heavy extended. You need that more muzzle velocity in Battle Royale as well. And as you can see, I have 15 points remaining, meaning I can simply just go ahead and use this once I unlock everything and have more recoil control, less ADS time for REDSEC. But right now, with this setup, I can go ahead and, use a green laser sight on the weapon just for the sake of it, because you basically can't use anything else on this weapon. That's actually like 10 points and worth the effort, right? So that's going to be your setup for REDSEC as well. And I've tested this. It's going to work, guys. It will shred anyone in medium to long range even. When it comes to REDSEC, playing the Battle Royale with this weapon is actually a luxury. And I promise you, you're going to love this setup when it comes to trying it out and playing it on the battlefield. Do make sure to go down in the comment section. Let me know what you think about the weapon setups. And let me know if you actually played the M250 before. What do you think about it? Do you actually consider this to be some sort of glitch, having no bullet drop? Or do you believe it doesn't really need a fix and it should stay the same? And we're going to have a good conversation down there. Also, if you've tried the weapon setups, do make sure to let me know if you've liked them or not, so I can improve and we can learn a few things from each other, right? So thank you all guys for watching. Hope this video was helpful, somewhat informative, and until next time, guys, stay cool.